Alright, let's check out Bitcoin. So this is going to be a different type of video today, and I'm mainly going to be focusing on the macro term. So I'm just going to quickly cover the short term because I've been saying in a few of my videos, I do think it is likely that we could have one quick flush out to as low as $40,000 before we do continue with the bull market. Now, first of all, if we break below the bottom of these EMA ribbons at 43,000, I would have to assume that 40,000 is on the table and we could come down to here. Why I'm not worried about that, we would still be in an uptrend, we have a plethora of higher lows, and I really don't think a move to 40,000 is the end of the world. I mean, we're still in a very nice uptrend, and while the technicals are pointing for us to come down to 40,000 because we're kind of hugging the bottom of these EMA ribbons right now, and on the 4 hourly they have recently fired a sell signal. So the technicals, the fundamentals are different than the technicals right now. The technicals are pointing for a quick move lower, and I think on the 4 hourly we can see we could potentially even have a move up to the 4 hourly EMA ribbons, the short-term moving average at 44,000 before we do start coming down. Now, the reason why I'm personally not betting on this move for 40,000, even though I do think it's very likely, is because of a few reasons. Now, I'm going to go through a few different charts, a few different things that I don't necessarily cover all the time, but first of all, let's check out the stock market. Now, the stock market has just flipped green for the first time since this huge uptrend. Now, I want to point out, you can see here the the stock market SPY flipped bullish all the way down here at 439, and we had a move up to 480, which if you're in crypto, you're probably like, why would I care about like a 10% move? Look, if you've ever traded stocks before, you know that stock traders will go absolutely crazy for a 1% move. So a 10% move in the stock market, that could literally make crypto, on Bitcoin specifically, do like a 2x. Like, I mean, you can see every time the stock market flips green on these EMA ribbons on the daily, we go absolutely parabolic. So this is the number one reason why I'm not shorting Bitcoin, why I'm personally not necessarily looking to have price targets all the way down here. I'm personally laddering in my buys. I bought some Bitcoin today for the first time in a while. I'm going to buy more Bitcoin if we come down to 40,000. But like I said, the technicals are pointing for 40,000, but the fundamentals, everything else that's going on, predicts that we're going to have a reversal very soon. So I'm not betting on Bitcoin having a move down to 40,000. Nonetheless, if we do, this is still a higher low that I really wouldn't panic about. Now, once again, the stock market looks amazing right now, and you might be wondering why am I covering the stock market? This is a Bitcoin video. Look, let's start off with the dollar. The stock market follows the dollar. Most of the time the dollar goes up and it's not good for the stock market. Nonetheless, the dollar's up a tiny bit today and the stock market is up as well. So that's a little bit of a contradictory, but most of the time the stock market goes down as the dollar goes up. That's just how it is. So the stock market follows the dollar. Bitcoin follows the stock market, and the total crypto market cap follows Bitcoin. So your altcoins, Bitcoin, they are all going to follow in tandem with what's going on in the stock market, whether you like it or not. I personally don't like it. I wish Bitcoin was much more detached from the current financial markets we have, but we've got to work with what we've got to work with. It is basically a fact. It's pretty much undisputable that Bitcoin follows what goes on with the stock market. It is just very true. I mean, you can see Bitcoin is having a slight bounce right now, and we've been down for the past 3 or 4 days. Just to show you, since the 28th of March, we've been in a downtrend and we're having a slight bounce today. What's been going on in the SPY? 29th of March, 1 day off, we've been having a downtrend, and we're starting to pump today on the stock market. This is exactly what Bitcoin is doing. So the stock market flipping daily bullish on the EMA ribbons is absolutely extremely bullish. So I'm really not betting against Bitcoin right now. Nonetheless, that is all I have for the stock market. Let's jump into the Fear and Greed Index. The Fear and Greed Index is at 34 right now, and I'm a contrarian trader. A lot of people, a lot of retail traders, when Bitcoin comes down to extreme fear like 21, they panic, they get bearish, they think Bitcoin's going to zero. I'm a contrarian trader. I like the saying. Alright, so I had to Google it because it was driving me absolutely insane. But nonetheless, it's Warren Buffett saying, he said, Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Like, I have this saying all the time, and the one time I actually need to say it, my brain just dies. So, nonetheless, let's jump right back into it. We're fearful for the Bitcoin market right now. The lower we go, the more fearful average retail traders get, the more bullish I get. And it's the complete opposite on the inverse as well. When people are getting extremely euphoric, that's when I consider taking profits. And right now, it is not the time to be fearful. When everyone else is fearful, you should probably be greedy and start buying Bitcoin. That is just my opinion. I'm looking to buy Bitcoin at these levels while people are freaked out. If we move lower and people are even more scared, I'll be buying even more. That is just how I work. I like to buy for a discount. I don't like to buy when it's oversold. Nonetheless, that's the Fear and Greed Index. Going on to the total crypto hash rate, or the total Bitcoin hash rate. Now this is a slow moving indicator, so I mean we could be making all-time highs for this tomorrow, and it could take 3 or 4 months for Bitcoin to even react to this. But nonetheless, the Bitcoin hash rate, the all-time high is up here at 214 M. If we come over to where we're at now, we're literally sitting on 200 right now. So the Bitcoin hash rate is going up. That means there's more miners, that means there's more validators, that means the network's more secure, the network's more valuable. It costs more money for Bitcoin miners to mine a single Bitcoin. So, I mean, the higher the hash rate goes, the more valuable the Bitcoin network becomes, because it's more secure. Everyone's competing for the same amount of Bitcoins that would have already been mined anyway. So it's going to cost more for miners to break even, and they're not going to sell their Bitcoin for less than it costs to mine it. That's really all I've got for the hash rate. I mean, like I said, the hash rate is a long-term indicator. When the Bitcoin hash rate starts making new all-time highs, that's probably when you want to consider to buy, because Bitcoin will probably start making new all-time highs. I mean, you can basically see this chart is exactly what happens with the Bitcoin price, but it's just a bit of a lagging indicator. So I mean, sometimes it takes a few months to make a new all-time high on the Bitcoin price when this makes a new all-time high, but nonetheless, total crypto or total Bitcoin hash rate is increasing. I do think Bitcoin is going to soon follow in the macro term, which is why I'm saying in the very, very short term we could have a flush out. It's very possible we could move down to 40,000, but in the macro term I am not bidding, or I'm not betting against Bitcoin. I would not bet that we're going to move down to 40,000. I am not going to short Bitcoin down to 40,000. I think that's insanity. I think you'd be insane to even short Bitcoin down to 42,500. It might be a good play, but we could reverse tomorrow. Like, the stock market is going, pretty crazy right now. We're pumping above the 200-day. We're making higher lows, and we're taking out these previous highs that we got stuck at. I think the stock market's about to break, extremely bullish. I think the dollar's about to top out. I think Bitcoin's about to go on a parabolic rally and take out the all-time highs. And also, one thing that I've never covered before, just for fun, just to neatly wrap up the video, because I know a lot of people that watch my videos are maybe retail traders, and they don't necessarily understand the value proposition of Bitcoin as a decentralized payments network. Now, I just want you to look at the chart here and look at what $1 is worth in 1988. Obviously down here, 1988, $1 is worth, what $1 worth of currency. And you can see since then the inflation rate has just been absolutely crazy. If you look at the buying power of $1 over time, it has completely fallen through the table. So this means that if you are holding the dollar, if you're holding the pound, the euro, the Zimbabwean dollar, it doesn't matter what you're holding, every fiat currency is going to zero. Every single cryptocurrency, I can bet money on it. The USD is not going to be around in the next 50 years, in my opinion. I don't think it will be around in the next 25 years. I don't think the euro is going to be a strong currency in 25 years. I don't think the pound is going to survive hyper-Bitcoinization. I think Bitcoin is going to millions and millions of dollars, in my opinion, and that might sound absolutely insane. You might be thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? How is Bitcoin going to go to millions of dollars? But people don't understand that the dollar's going to zero, so by default Bitcoin's going to be worth millions. In my opinion, the value proposition of Bitcoin should mean that the price of Bitcoin right now is already $1 million. I'm surprised Bitcoin is not trading at hundreds of thousands. So when the US is printing 33% every single year, and it's going to keep on increasing, if you don't think it's going to keep on increasing, then I really think you're you're completely wrong there. I don't think the dollar or any fiat currency is a safe place to store your money. Over time, it's been proven that they just completely lose their value. I mean, the US is printing like there's no tomorrow. This year, and when they say 35% inflation, you know it's 50% inflation. Is your gas, 50% more expensive? Or is it double the price? Is your rent, is your electricity bills, 50% more expensive, or is it more expensive? I mean, the price of goods and services are going to keep on going up, and the price of everything priced against Bitcoin is going to go down, in my opinion. So if you look at the price, not the BTC USD chart, but the USD BTC chart, the USD priced against Bitcoin is literally going to go to zero, in my opinion. So like I said, this is more of a macro video, just looking at a bunch of different indicators and trying to help, retail traders who are somewhat new to Bitcoin understand the value proposition of Bitcoin. I definitely recommend, if you are somewhat new to Bitcoin, if you don't understand the value proposition properly, if you don't understand how the network's supported and, why people are so bullish on this, I recommend you reading a book called The Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Amos. That will literally explain everything about Bitcoin much better than I can in my own words. So that is all I've got for you for Bitcoin today. Once again, best of luck if you're in Bitcoin. This is not financial advice, just my opinion on the market, and you've always got to do what's best for you. Cowboy out. Peace.